It says, shall the prey be taken from the mighty? Anytime you find prophets asking questions, you need to be very careful, because the duty of a prophet is to proclaim the counsel of God in simple, plain language without ambiguity. In fact, the nature of the delivery of a prophet doesn't accommodate him speaking in parables, because clarity is of essence for everyone to understand the mind of God. Even the tenses, the words, the deliverables should be so clear for everybody to understand God's counsel. So when you find a prophet asking a question, there is a depth. It means the matter that is about to be discussed is not the ordinary matters. There is a matter that is in view that we need to take our time and pay attention in order for us to be able to grasp. What is the question here today? Shall the prey be taken from the mighty? Now, when this question was asked, the prophet was aware of the fact that you will not understand the question. So what he did was that he rendered the same question in another way that afforded us the possibility of understanding. So one question asked two ways. First rendering, shall the prey be taken from the mighty? Then we now have or, because he knows we will not understand it. Shall the lawful captive be delivered? So you see, the reason why that entity was called mighty was not because of brute strength. The reason why that entity was called mighty was because the bondage that he throws his victims into is legal in nature. So the first destruction is what we call legal bondages. You see, oh my God. Are you with me? Please stay with me. The spirit realm, the unseen realm, has 9 characteristics. 9. Witches are not the ones that created the spirit realm, just like human beings did not create the natural realm. But when human beings discovered that there's something called the law of gravity, when human beings discovered that there's something called the law of lift, they were able to measure the acceleration due to gravity and to peg it at a figure. And then they developed engines, jet engines, that have the capacity to overcome gravity. So that for those because of those jet engines, gravity is more or less non-existent, because they have overpowered it. Now, they have entered into the economy of the law of lift, and that's why we can fly planes. I hope you realize that flying planes is not witchcraft. They just took advantage of existing possibilities in the realm, and they use it to advance their lives. So in the realm of the spirit, there are also laws. And unfortunately, I weep saying this, witches seem to have explored these laws much more than believers. Meanwhile, witches did not create the laws. They just discovered them. There are 9 such laws in the realm of the spirit. Are you there? And it will interest you to know that salvation was procured on the strength of one of those laws. The principle that was used as a means of procuring our salvation was a spiritual law that was obtainable in the realm of the spirit, which is what we call the law of substitution. It was you and me that sinned, but it was Jesus that died. And through faith, the things he procured through his death is applicable to us because of the law of substitution. There are many laws in that realm. You are not with me? Okay, the law of substitution. We were the ones that sinned. The penalty was death. Jesus came to satisfy the claims of divine justice. And when he satisfied the claims of divine justice, unfortunately for the devil, he was not guilty of the crime. So the price he paid has a value that is locked in the realm of the spirit. And anyone that believes in Jesus, he's credited that value that his sacrifice created in the realm of the spirit. So exchange has taken place. It is logically calculated that the damnation that was your portion has been paid for. So what is left for you is the life. The life he had becomes your portion. So he died in your place so that you can have access to the economy of everlasting life, which was a property that was in his possession before he died. That is possible because of the law of substitution. You are not with me? So you must have heard among witches that an old witch wants to die, and then that old witch now gets someone to die in his or her place. So substitution is a possibility in the realm of the spirit. Witches did not create it. But what I'm saying is that we are not using the law. So okay. Is it God's fault that we are not using? As astronauts explore space, that's how we are called to explore God. But in this day, when Christians, the fire on Christians are burning low, they're just there. Canada is good, it's cold, and that's why we are like this. And Satan has stepped into a lot of homes. He has already mortgaged the destiny of the children of those homes. The parents that are Christians don't know how to move the hand of God. They are just accepting it as part of the... It's not God's fault. If you don't rise up, nothing will change. So there are laws. There are laws that we are supposed to take advantage. In fact, in order for you to... Are you there? Yes. So, let me tell you another one before I go back to my message. There is what we call the law of sacrifice. You may not know, but the greatest legal statement that was ever made was not in our courts, was Calvary. It's a legal statement. And the potential of that sacrifice that was made is inexhaustible, because death can produce life. That's the law of sacrifice. So if you want to have a ministry of life, you want to have a ministry of life, so that the merchandise that you'll be giving off through your ministry is life. People encounter your ministry, they touch the life of God. If you want a ministry of life, Apostle Paul gives us some insight. He says, so death walketh in us, so that life will walk in you. That's the law of sacrifice. Oh, someone that is not willing to sacrifice by fasting, sacrifice by prayer, sacrifice by night prayers, sacrifice by long prayers, sacrifice by intermittent prayers, don't expect life. Because anytime life is made manifest, it is because something was sacrificed. You want life? Jesus sacrificed himself, and the effect of that sacrifice is that we have access to his life. If you want to have the ministry of life, you are going to accept a life of sacrifice. That is the only way. You know, hallelujah. Do you know a church can be a dead church? A minister can be a dead minister. And most times, if there's enough finances to pay the bills, you don't know that you have died. So in order for God to help you, he needs to allow something terrible happen that will wake you up from your slumber. Wherefore he said, awake, O thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. It takes sacrifice. It takes sacrifice. If I tell you the number of hours I prayed yesterday, you will not believe. You think I'm lying. But even after those number of hours, I couldn't preach.